Hi ABM students, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Charot. Welcome to week 2, and in this video presentation we will discuss explaining, solving, illustrating, and performing basic accounting concepts and principles. Before we proceed or go on to our lesson, let us have first a very short storytelling. Wow, storytelling. Yan. I know every one of you is very, very much familiar with this iconic logo, the SM Supermos. And let me tell you some or a brief history about this supermall. Okay? Okay, ang ibig sabihin daw ng SM ay Shoemart. No, so makinig kayo mabuti ha. SM might just be the most recognizable two-letter combination in the Philippines. 'Di ba? Ito yung pinakang sikat siguro na sa ngayon na dalawang letter combination in the Philippines. If you think about it, it is amazing how these two letters tell a rich history. Well, kilalang-kilala si SM bilang ay hindi pala bilang. Kilalang-kilala si SM sa kanyang tagline na ano nga yun? We got it all for you. Wow. 'Di ba? Alam ko lahat kayo nakarinig na nun. So, let us start the history telling. Okay. SM is founded by Mr. Henry C. Sr. in October 1958 dito sa small town ng Quiapo, Manila. Okay, nasa Palangka. Even SM faced great challenges. Nagsimula din naman si SM talaga sa mahirap na sitwasyon bago siya naging super mall. They started from catering small customers. Mr. C thought of creating a unique concept ever seen in the country. Ayan. So this is the very first SM or Shoe Mart in the Philippines. Ito ay matatagpuan sa Quiapo, Manila. Bago siya maging retail giant, yan muna yung itsura niya, no? Si Mr. Henry C, nangarap kasi talaga siya na magkaroon ng sarili niyang shoe mart. At ang naging trademark niya, kung mapapansin niyo, yung mga SM Supermalls, yung structure ng mall, ng building, ay parang isang malaking shoebox. Kasi yun yung naging dream ni Mr. Henry C. The popular shoebox structure of its mall became the trademark of SM. 'Di ba? Pare-pares ng structure sa SM. Lahat ng malls niya ay mga itsurang shoebox. From these humble beginnings in Manila, SM is currently a retail giant. Okay? Ayan, meron na siya ngayon na I think this is 2019 pa yata itong data ko. No? 67 in the Philippines, 6 in China, at isa sa Guam. O, di ba? Bongga, international na rin pala talaga si SM. And paano nangyari yon? Kasi dumami ang investors ni SM. Maraming nagkaroon ng tiwala kay SM. Therefore, dumami ang nag-invest sa kanya. The success and expansion of SM are partnered with growing customer base. Additionally, investors are more interested in investing in the company to share in its success. Creditors are more willing to lend. Yan, napag-aralan natin yan, yung investors and creditors. Creditors are more willing to lend the company since they are assured that it has the capability to pay. Being a large player in the economy, SM is being watched closely by the government. O, di ba? Kaya naglalabas talaga si SM ng mga accounting information. Simula na naglabas siya ng accounting information, what happened? Dumami si investors, lumaki ang customers niya, dumami ang customers, and the creditors are very much willing to lend na kasi nakita nila na may kakayahan si SM na magbayad ng upa or nung utang, kung humiram man siya. And dahil din dyan, o diba, tinututukan siya maigi ng ating government. Okay? In the past, ano pa to? Okay. Ito pala. Why or have you ever wondered Bakit walang mercury drug sa loob ng SM? Yan. Search niyan mabuti ha. This is very interesting. Okay? Now, because of the success, what is the secret? Ano kaya ang naging sikreto ni SM? Bakit naging retail giant siya? Hmm? Of course, si accounting ano kaya sa part ng accounting? Yes, obviously, lahat ng parte ng bawat sulok ng salik ng accounting ay naging matagumpay si SM doon. And for this particular topic, yes, you are expected to 1. Explain the varied accounting concepts and principles. Of course, when you do accounting, there are certain principles, concepts, and standards na kailangang sundin in order to do it very well. Also, you have to identify generally accepted accounting principles and solve exercises on accounting principles as applied in various cases. Okay? So basically, ito ay mga concept, principles, assumptions, and standards na related or sinusunod ng mga accounting firm. Okay? Let's proceed. Okay, have you heard of the rules of life? Diba? Not a single person in this world lived without following some rules. Bakit? Para saan ba ang rules or batas? Sa classroom may batas. Wala lang iisihin yun, no? Bawal lumabas. Bawal lumabas. Sige nga. What are the rules at home? Ano ba yung mga rule ninyo noon, ngayon sa bahay? Bawal lumabas, ilimit ang gamit ng cellphone, kailangan toka-toka sa paghugas ng pinggan, and so on and so forth. Matulog sa tanghali. Ginagawa niyo ba ba yan? What are sa school naman? What are the laws or the rules at school? Hindi nga. Bawal mag-cutting, gagawin dapat si assignment. 'Di ba? Nakakamiss ang school. Anyways, all will be all right in time. How about workplace? Sa tingin ninyo, sa isang trabaho, ano kaya ang mga rules? You have to come on time. Ano pa? Do your work with courtesy, be respectful, and blah blah. Sa math, ano bang rules sa math? Ano mga natatandaan yung laws sa math? Oo, bawal i-add ang mga unlike terms. Kunyari, A plus B ay hindi equal sa AB. A plus B is equal to A plus B. Yan yung mga rules sa math. Can you imagine our society without a law that governs us? 'Di ba? Isipin niyo na lang halimbawa ngayon in this time of pandemic, walang batas. You can do whatever you want. 'Di ba? It's very chaotic. Imagine somebody could steal your phone, pwedeng i-snatch ng kung sino man yung phone mo or saktan ka physically and it's perfectly okay because it's legal. Imagine. Yes, rules impede our freedom, but it is for the common good, 'di ba? Without rules, we would live in chaos, magulo. And these rules, of course, will serve as guide to live together harmoniously. Ayan, imagine na lang kung wala tayong rules. Pasalamat na lang din tayo. Merong mga rules na nag-govern sa atin. Okay, so basically this topic will talk about rules in accounting. Marami-rami siya, pero we'll discuss them one by one. Accounting concepts, principles, and assumptions. So these serve as foundation of accounting in order to avoid misunderstanding and enhance the understanding and usefulness of financial statements, 'di ba? As you can remember from our previous topic, there were the company must prepare two kinds of financial statements. Why? Because they cater two kinds of financial users or financial statement users, the internal and the external. So kahit na yung mga external, especially the general public, kailangan ay maiintindihan nila si financial statement na inilalabas ninyo. And therefore, it must be guided by these concepts, principles, assumptions, and standards. And these principles are always present in financial reports. So, dapat ay, anong tawag dito? Present. Ano bang other term for present? Nakikita doon sa financial statement yung mga concepts, principles, and assumptions na dictated ng ating mga accounting standards. Let us start with the first one. The separate entity. According to this concept, business is separate personality from the owners, managers, and employees operating the business. Ibig sabihin, hiwalay ang personal na buhay mo sa iyong business. Okay? Kailangan magkahiwalay ang personal transaction mo sa financial transaction ng business mo. For example, kumuha ka ng, ano ba tawag ito? Nagpalinis ka ng sarili mong kotse. Pero, yung nagastos mo dun sa pagpapalinis mo ng kotse ay ina-reflect mo pa doon sa financial statement mo. Which is very wrong because very personal transaction na kasi yung pagpapalinis mo ng kotse. Personal vehicle mo unless that vehicle is a company vehicle. Another, if you have three businesses, should be businesses, kailangan meron ka ring tatlong accounting records. Magkakabukod. Okay? Next, yan na nga, financial transactions are different from personal transaction. Walang kinalaman ang personal na buhay mo, yung mga activities mo araw-araw, wag mo siyang i-reflect sa iyong record notebook kasi hindi naman siya business related. This is for fair presentation of financial statements. Basta lahat lang ng related sa business mo, yun lang dapat yung nakalagay sa financial statement mo. At wala nang iba. Okay? Next is the going on principle. O, di ba ang ganda ng pangalan? The going principle. Going on. The going principle. According to this principle, business is expected to continue indefinitely. Naniniwala ka at talagang ine-expect mo na ang business mo ay magko-continue indefinitely into the future. Meaning, hindi mo alam kung kailan matatapos yung business mo. Of course naman, di ba? Sino ba naman ang may gusto ng business na naiisip mo, ay, siguro tatagal lang tong business ko ng mga 3 months, mga ganyan. Hindi. Going concern principle, in this principle, you believe that your business will continue indefinitely into the future. Business will not be forced to liquidate its asset to pay off its liabilities. Also, it allows accountants to defer recognition of expenses in the future. For example, prepaid expenses. Halimbawa, nagbayad ka ng renta. Halimbawa, ang rent sa isang stall na inuupahan mo is 1,000 pesos. Kung naniniwala ka sa going concern at susundin mo si going concern principle, pwede kang magbayad ng renta na good for 5 months. Halimbawa, nag-advance ka na ng rent for 5 months. Yan. Because sinusunod mo si going concern principle na kahit hindi pa dumadating yung mga months na yun, inassume mo na aabot ka sa month na iyon. Therefore, binayadan mo na agad yung expenses na iyon. Okay? Ano pa? Ayan, halimbawa natin sa yung mga prepaid loads, internets, and so on and so forth. Now, meron naman ding instances na substantial doubt about the ability of a company. Ibig sabihin, there are cases na sa tingin mo parang ay wala na 'to, wala ng pag-asa. So eto yung mga palatandaan na ikaw ay susuko na. Ito yung mga palatandaan. Number 1, the result of operations consistently show losses. Ano na paulit-ulit na ang nangyayari ay pababa. Wala nang increase ng income or profit. Wala na. As in, wala na. Pababa na yung trend ng iyong company. Next, inability to pay obligations of the company in time. Hindi mo na kayang bayaran yung mga dapat mong bayaran. For example, you have a creditor. Meron ka pang hiniram. Hindi mo na siya kayang bayadan. Kasi wala ka ng pagkukunan. Also, hindi mo na rin kayang magbayad ng renta kasi wala ka ng pagkukunan. Hindi mo na kayang bumili pa ng mga additional stocks kasi wala ka ng pagkukunan. That's number 2. Number 3, loan defaults. Wala ka ng ibang choice kundi ang umutang na lang talaga. Palagi ka na lang si utang, utang, utang. Number 4, suppliers do not sell or credit to the company. Sinukuan ka na ng mga supplier mo. Why? Because of number 2, hindi mo na kayang magbayad on time. And lastly, legal proceedings against the company. This is the worst. Sa tingin ko, yung sinampahan ka na ng kaso. Because something na hindi magandang, may something na hindi magandang performance yung iyong company, which result to legal proceedings. Okay? Wag naman sana. So that is the going concern principle. Next, the time period. Time period, according to this concept or principle, financial statements are to be divided into specific time intervals. The purpose of financial statements is to show the overall result of the operation of the company. However, the final and comprehensive report of the result of company operations cannot be produced until the company is at the end of its life. Siyempre, hindi mo nga alam kung kailan matatapos eh. Therefore, you have to chunk. Kailangan mong i-divide into specific time intervals. And to provide specific decisions. Kaya, usually, ang ginagawa ng mga ng company or ng businesses is they prepare financial statements na good for a year. Ito yung pinakamadalas usually talaga, good for 1 year or financial statements annually. The infinite life of a company can be divided into periods of equal length for the preparation of financial reports. Ito yung sabi ko kanina, because you are believing na sa going concern principle, that's why you have to divide into specific time intervals. And usually, it's annually. No, kada taon. Like, January to December 2015. Basta natapos si December, matik cut na, and then prepare the annual report. Though there are some company na nakadepende sa normal cycle ng business, depende pa rin sa company. Pwede siyang quarterly or monthly. It depends. Basta, you have to divide into specific time intervals. Dapat ay pare-parehas. Okay? Next concept is the actual basis of accounting. This provides information about past transactions and other future economic events that are most useful to users in making economic decisions and other future economic events. Ayan. Lahat ng iyong magiging decisions are nakabase lamang sa financial statement. Lahat ng because. Gagawin mo to because, nagkaganito because, ito ang naging decision mo because. Yes, the financial statement will always answer that questions. Ano? Yan. Kaya siya actual basis of accounting. Kasi si financial statement, ang nare-reflect lang niya is kung ano talaga yung totoong nangyari. Therefore, yung iyong basis for future decisions and future economic events to make ay nakadepende lang naman din doon sa iyong financial statement. Therefore, it's factual. Okay? Next! Monetary unit. According to this concept, amounts are stated into single monetary unit. So meaning, in the Philippines, you will only use Philippine peso. Kung ang iyong business is Philippine-based. Of course, kung ikaw ay American-based or kung ano mang bansa yan, kung ano yung currency nila, yun yung gagamitin mo. Okay? Also, assume that the value of the currency you are using 5 or 30 years ago is the same value today. Na-assume mo na yung value ni 5 pesos, halimbawa, yung value ni 1,000 ay same value pa rin siya sa mga susunod na taon kahit na inflation will occur. Okay? Next is the faithful representation. Sabi dito, information is factual or based on the true events or represents the actual effects of events that have taken place. They must be kompleto, supported by all the necessary documents, and also it must be neutral. Neutral meaning they are free from biases. Walang bias. Kung ano lang talaga yung nangyari, is it whether negative or positive, ayun na yun. Basta totoo. Faithful. Next. Consistency concept. Firms should use the same accounting method from period to period to achieve comparability over time within a single enterprise. Kung ano yung method na ginamit mo in the first place, yun din dapat yung gagamitin mo sa mga susunod para valid at reliable yung iyong pagko-compare. Next, free from error. Of course, lahat ng report kailangan ay free from error. Information is not materially misstated and there are no error in the description and in the process by which information is selected and applied. Okay? Kaya minsan kung nakakakita kayo ng mga accounting post, yung ultimo 0.01 centavo na nawawala, ay talagang hahanapin mo yun kasi dapat yung tinatawag nilang balance. Yun yung example. Talagang ultimo kasingkusingkuhan ay kailangan makita mo kung saan napunta. Alright? Next, cost principle. Acquired assets should be recorded at their actual cost and not at what management thinks they are worth as at reporting date. Kung magkano mo nabili, yun yung ira-report mo. Kahit halimbawa, bumili si company mo ng cellphone or sige sa pagpalagay na nating second-hand cellphone yun. Halimbawa ay binenta ng 10,000. Pero base sa iyong pag-examine dun sa phone, hindi lang 10,000 yung worth niya. Pwede siyang mabenta ng 12,000. So, alin ang dapat ilagay mo? Of course, si 10,000 kasi yun yung naging bentahan. Yun yung nakalagay sa resibo. Hindi porke sa tingin mo ay, mukhang 12,000 to. Yun na lang ilagay natin. Para lang lumaki yung expenses nyo. Hindi. Kung ano yung naging bentahan or kung ano talaga yung actual cost, yun yung i-reflect natin. Okay? Next, matching principle. Revenue is to be recorded in the accounting period when goods and services are rendered or performed. Expenses are recognized in the same period as the related revenue. And related revenues and related expenses should always go together. For example, ikaw ay sa car sales. Salesman ka sa isang car company. Ang monthly salary mo, for example, is, sige, pagpalagay natin 20,000. Halimbawa lang, hindi ko alam kung magkano eh. 20,000. At kada sales or kada benta mo ng car, meron kang 5% na commission. Halimbawa, nakabenta ka ng ah, car or 10 car or kung ilang car man na worth 12 million. 12 million yung halaga ng naibenta mo. Ibig sabihin, for example, that is December. Ibig sabihin, kung 5%, edi yun ay 600,000 plus your basic salary na magkano sabi ko kanina? 30,000. So, meron ka, 20,000 ba? 20,000. So, ibig sabihin, sa December, dapat ang matatanggap mo mula sa kumpanya ay 620,000. Kasi yun ay yung sweldo mo na 20,000 at saka yung commission mo na 5% na 600,000. Ngayon, hindi pa siya naibigay sa'yo that month ng December. Sabi, ibibigay ko sa'yo to ng January. According to matching principle, kahit na January siya ibibigay sa'yo, dapat ire-record siya ni company ng December. Kasi sales yon ng December. Kung kailan nangyari si revenue and other related expenses, doon dapat siya naka-reflect. Hindi dahil sa hindi pa siya naibibigay kaya hindi mo siya dapat i-reflect. No, according to matching principle, it should go together. Related revenues and related expenses should always go together. Therefore, you have to reflect that transaction kung anong month man siya nangyari or kung anong period man siya nangyari. Okay? If the revenues are recorded in period 1, the related expenses should also be recorded in period 2. Yung tinatawag ditong related tawag dito? Related revenue sa example ko. Sa related revenue, ito si 12 million. Sa related expenses ay yung salary at saka yung commission. Okay? So, kailangan magkasama sila palagi. Cost should be matched with the revenue generated. Next, the prudence or conservatism. Sa prudence or conservatism, dito papasok yung iyong pag-estima. Yung mga estimate na ginagawa mo. Some financial transactions are sometimes uncertain. Hindi mo kasi sigurado yung ibang transaction. Halimbawa, si warranty, hindi ka naman sure kung meron bang defective na lalabas doon sa iyong gadget. Therefore, maglalagay ka ng allowance for that. In case of doubt, assets and income should not be overstated while liabilities and expenses should not be understated. Halimbawa nga niyan ay sila warranty. Nevertheless, we still need to report this transaction if they pertain to specific period. Yan. Meron tayong tinatawag na albe prudence. I don't know if I pronounced it correct, but this is a preferred course of action when making judgment. Sabi niya, no bloating of expenses to lower the tax payments. Usually, hindi pala usually, meron kasi mga company na ang style nila is lalakihan nila sa expenses. Kasi, ayan, pag nilakihan nila sa expenses, ang ibig sabihin nun, liliit si net income. Liliit yung kita. Therefore, liliit si tax. Yan, So, yan yung tinatawag na no to bloating expenses. As you study higher levels of accounting, you will encounter items in the company records that cannot be exactly measured. Kasi meron nga tayong tinatawag na mga uncertainty or halimbawa nga nun, yung future profits. Hindi mo naman sure talaga kung magkano yung eksaktong kikitain mo no, sa mga susunod na araw. At yung mga warranty expenses din, hindi mo rin sure kung meron ba mag-a-avail ng warranty mo. Therefore, maglalagay ka ng palugit. Maglalagay ka ng, anong tawag dun sa mga ganun, ano? Parang ire-ready mo yung sarili mo sa mga ganun. Yun nga lang, you must not overestimate the expenses to decrease the net income and to decrease the taxes. Ano, may iba kasi mga ganun talagang style. Pero it's a big no-no. Okay? Next, the full disclosure principle. According to this principle, all relevant information that would affect the user's understanding and assessment of the accounting entity to be disclosed in financial statements. Ito yung sinasabi ko kanina na lahat dapat ng economic events or any financial transactions must be reflected in the financial statement. Wala ka itatago. Cost-benefit. Benefits of accounting for and reporting information should outweigh the cost of processing and communicating information should not be exceed the benefits to be derived from it. Kaya nga tayo meron tinatawag na internal and external users. Kung ikaw ay internal user, kung ikaw ay external user, hindi or wala kang access kay accounting information intended for the internal users. Kaya kung ano lang yung kailangan mo, yun lang yung ibibigay sa'yo. No? Hindi fully i-disclose ni company yung lahat na related information unless you are an internal user. Okay? Now, fundamental qualitative characteristics. So the following are the characteristics that make information useful to users, which is composed of relevance and faithful representation. So let's have relevance. Information is relevant if it can affect the decision of users without this trait to the information deemed irrelevant. Relevant information has the following aspects. So, ito daw yung mga kinakailangan para masabi na ang information ay relevant or mahalaga. Number 1, the predictive value. It can help users to make predictions about future outcomes. Ano, the information ay kinakailangan na maging basis para ma-foresee noong user kung ano ang mga maaaring mangyari sa susunod. Next, confirmatory value or the feedback value. This is related to predictive value. Information is confirmatory if it can help users confirm their past predictions. So, ito namang part na ito ay para ma-support yung naging prediction noong una, doon sa una. And lastly, the materiality. Financial reporting is only concerned with information that is significant enough to affect evaluations and decisions. And materiality depends on the size and nature of the item judged in a particular circumstances of its omission. Kaya nga tayo merong dalawang kinds of financial information because we are catering two kinds of financial statement users. Ano, the internal and the external. Next, enhancing qualitative characteristics. Ano naman ito? These support financial qualitative characteristics and enhance the useful information such as comparability, verifiability, timeliness, and understandability. So let us discuss one by one. The first is comparability. If it can help users identify similarities and differences between different set of information. Kapag nakakaya niyang magkaroon or mag-create ng comparison between the information. Kaya nga 'di ba kanina importante yung mayroon tayong consistency. Para magkaroon ng valid at reliable na comparison. Next is verifiability. If different users could reach a general agreement as to what the information intends to represent. Kailangan siyang ma-verify o magkaroon ng agreement between the internal and the external users. Magkakaduksong kasi yan si comparability, verifiability at yung mga susunod pa. Kailangan magkaroon ng same agreement doon sa nilalaman noong financial information. Next is the timeliness. If it is available in time to be able to influence their decisions. This is like saying too late the hero. Kailangan available siya in time. Kung kailan mo siya kailanganin, hindi man finish si financial statement, but at least the columnar books or the record notebooks are readily available in case kailanganin nyo siya. Halimbawa, meron kayong urgent na decision na kailangan gawin, pwede nyong i-access yung ating information readily. And the last one is understandability. It must be clear and concise, or by presenting data that can be understood by the users of the information. Kasi nga meron din tayong external users na general public, na academe, students, customers. Kinakailangan ay clear and concise. And of course, it must be user-friendly. Hindi kinakailangan na super mga highfalutin words or very technical terms ang gamitin natin sa information na sa pagbibigay ng information kasi dapat siya ay nauunawaan ng kahit na sinong users. Okay? We also have this general accepted accounting principles or the GAAP. These consist of principles, standards, rules, and guidelines that companies follow to achieve consistency and comparability in their financial statements. So some companies that apply the GAAP help not only the external users of the accounting information, but also the management as well. Since the GAAP enhances the consistency and comparability of companies' financial statements, it will be easier for external users to examine if the company is doing well currently or in relation to its past performance because this provides very consistent and very comparable informations. Individuals in the accountancy professions are the ones who created the gap. So since lumalawak nga ang research natin regarding accounting, so nagkakaroon talaga ng pag-furnish ng mga generally accepted accounting principles. Okay? Also, we have the International Financial Reporting Standards or the IFRS. The IFRS are pronouncements issued by the International Accounting Standards Board or the IASB that intend to enhance the comparability of financial statements of all companies around the world in light of globalization. Ayan. Kasi kinakailangan maging globally competitive lahat. Kaya naman nagkaroon talaga ng International Financial Reporting Standards. So, eto na yung guide na ginagamit all over the world. Function of IASB is performed by International Accounting Standards. Ayan. The IASC. Sa Philippines, ginagamit niya ay both IFRS and IAS or the International Accounting Standards. as you go along to higher accounting subjects, i-discuss ninyo very carefully itong mga nakatakdang standards na ito. Bakit ba kasi kinakailangan na i-adopt ng Philippines itong IFRS? One is the Philippine Organization support the international accounting standards. Kinakailangan na kasi nating maging globally competitive. Therefore, we have to adopt the standards na ginagamit ng international organizations. Improvement of international accounting standards or removal of free choices of accounting treatments. Kailangan kasi natin maging firm kung ano ba talaga yung gagamitin. Therefore, nag-decide sila na gumamit na lang nito. Next is the Philippine Financial Reporting Standards or the PFRS. Ayan, this is in response to IFRS. Both pala. Hindi lang IFRS, also the International Accounting Standards. Interpretations of accounting standards issued by the Philippine Interpretation Committee is in accordance with interpretations of the IFRIC and the Standing Interpretations Committee. Ayan, you will have a deeper discussions about these standards kasi alam ko ay ito ay medyo pandiinan na. Using all those concepts, principles, and assumptions we have discussed, let us try to do this activity. Below are number of accounting principles and practices in Prosper General Merchandise. For each of these items, list the assumption, principle, information characteristic, or convention that is violated. Okay, tingnan natin kung ano ba kung alin ba dun sa mga na-discuss natin ang nalabag ni Prosper General Merchandise. Number 1, the company prepares financial reports are based on FAS promulgated by ASC. May na-discuss ba tayong SFAS, ASC? Definitely wala. So this is GAAP or the generally accepted accounting principle. Kasi sabi nila, magbe-base lang tayo kay IFRS at IAS. No. Number 2, assets and owner's equity are reported at fair value, but business obligations are reported at historical cost. Okay, pwede dyan si faithful representation. Kasi, sabi ni faithful representation, it must be complete. True and complete. Free from biases. Next, the company maintains only one employee to function as accountant, internal auditor, collector, and treasurer. So again, this has something to do with being objective. So, we'll go with faithful. Yung sa faithful representation. Bakit? Kasi kailangan free from biases. Kung iisang tao lang yung gumagawa ng internal audit, nagpo-function as accountant, siya din yung nagko-collect, and siya din yung mismong treasurer. So, there's something, kasi isang tao lang. Dapat magkakaibang tao siya so that free from bias yung bawat faithful or true yung bawat information kasi madami magva-validate. Next, the financial reports are always delayed. Okay, it has something to do with the characteristics, particularly the timeliness. Timeliness. Okay, napula. Timeliness, kasi sabi ni timeliness, dapat yung financial information or any accounting information must be readily available whenever needed. Dapat na andyan siya ready agad. Next, due to recession. Recession means depression, yung pagbaba or palugi. Due to recession, estimated future earnings are reported in the current financial reports of Prosper General Merchandise. From the word, yes, estimate, so tayo ay nasa conservatism or the prudence, 'di ba? Tamang estimation lang dapat. Number 6. The accounting methods and procedures used are regularly changed semi-annually. Okay, si time period. Pwede rin si consistency. Si time period, 'di ba sabi ni time period, kung ano yung ginamit mong uh, certain period of time, for example, is it annually, quarterly? Ayan. Kung ano yung sinimulan mong una, yun na din yung gagamitin mo sa susunod. Kagaya ng kay consistency, kung ano yung ginamit mo nung una, yun din ang gagamitin mo sa mga susunod pang panahon. Therefore, nalabag niya si consistency and si time period kasi regularly daw niyang binabago yung accounting methods and procedures. Dapat hindi. Para magkaroon ng, yes, comparability. Number 7, the accountant records transactions are desired by the owner without proper supporting documents. Okay, pwede dyan si faithful representation kasi without proper supporting documents, sabi ni faithful representation, kinakailangan ay complete. Complete. Puwede rin si full disclosure. Kasi siguro kaya hindi inilalagay lahat ng supporting documents, baka meron siyang hindi dinidisclose. But according to full disclosure principle, kailangan mong i-disclose lahat. Meaning, ilabas lahat. I-report lahat. Okay? So, ang sagot natin dito ay pwedeng faithful representation at C, full disclosure principle. Number 8. The financial reports do not include minutes of meeting, business contracts, and future plans because they are not financial in nature daw. Number 8. Okay, si full disclosure principle. Kasi nga sabi nila, you have to disclose lahat. What else? Relevance. Kasi si business contracts, si future plans, at minutes na meeting, hindi man siya financial in nature, still they are relevant sa information na dinidisclose ni financial statement. So you have to attach it or report it also. Number 9, the company refused to be audited by external auditor because it has already an internal auditor who religiously verifies the financial reports. Bakit kaya ayaw niya magpa-audit sa labas? Yes, baka kasi may something. So, maapektuhan dyan yung reliability nung iyong report. Kaya kinakailangan na meron tayong external auditor para mag-double check din. Kaya nga sabi ng principle na faithful representation. Kasi kung faithfully mo naman na-represent lahat ng transactions, why? Bakit bakit ka matatakot magpa-audit sa labas? Okay? Next, last na pala, number 10. The company acquired a refillable pentel amounting to 200 pesos and depreciate it because its estimate life is good for 5 years only. Binabaan niya yung presyo, imbis na 200 yung ilagay niya or i-report niya, binabaan niya ng presyo. Kaya yun. Okay, the materiality cost. Sabi kasi ni materiality cost, kung ano talaga or kung magkano mo talaga siya nabili, ganun mo siya dapat i-report. Okay? So, if you need more exercises regarding these concepts and principles, pwede ko kayong sendan ng more. And you may also consult our Mr. Google for more exercises. Okay? So again, that would be all for today, week 2. And I hope masagutan natin yung mga ibibigay kong exercises. If you have more questions, you may contact me through our group chat or sa messenger ko. Okay? Thank you. Stay safe. Bye.